In my mind, I'm looking at the younger me, dreaming of what he wanted me to be. See, I'm blind, I walked along with steady feet. In my mind, I don't know where we could be. I've got a lot of things to say, but with you here I'll be okay. I'm running out of time, I know. I'll tell you what you have to know. When I wake up and I think about it, I know I can't have found a way. Look at what we've built with you and I, yeah, you and I know. Stumbling back, I know. We figured it out somehow. Every step we took along, not easy, I'm thinking of you alone. And every time we spoke, you looked at me and told me I would get it, I know. I've got a lot of things to say, but with you here I'll be okay. I'm running out of time, I know. I'll tell you what you have to know. When I wake up and I think about it, I know I can't have found a way. Look at what we've built with you and I, yeah, you and I know that you'll be mine. You'll be mine. You'll be mine. That you'll be mine. Oh.
Hey, Atteev, welcome to Made in India.
Hi, May. Thank you so much for having me.
A long time coming.
I know it's been a while, but honestly, such an honor. I mean, I've been waiting for not really waiting for it, but I've always hoped that, okay, you know what, when I started back in 2020, sending you the DMs, being like, one day I'll make it. And this is like a highlight. This is a big, big highlight.
You know, I think you'd sent me an email. I'm like, this guy has contacted me before. I should totally check out his music. And then I heard it, and then I'm like, this is like a really great pop sound. And I'm a big fan of pop as well, besides being a bit of a rocker girl and a bit of a, so I do really like it. And I thought it was really good. And then I replied to your email and you were like, she has replied.
Exactly. That was me. That was literally me when you replied. I told everyone, being like, finally, I got a reply.
I know. Apologies for taking
so
long.
No, I totally get it. I was just waiting for my right time.
And by the way, this is so exciting. The first song you actually played for us is a new song.
Yes. It's called Look How Far We've Come.
And it's from my
new EP that we're still like almost scheduling. The songs are done, but the EP itself is called Look How Far We've Come. And it's basically just a recount and a sort of a gratitude note to every single person who has been a part of my journey for 2 years. Because as me personally, I'm a big family guy. I'm a big guy who really, really understands the value of a team and how important they are to get you to where you get, whether that be a team who work with you or your friends or people who support you. So it's just like a big thank you note, while also highlighting different aspects of my journey through like 5 songs. Like, for example, Come Home, which is actually the first song I send you an email of.
Yeah.
And we actually spoke about that at AM as well, is basically talking about how do you, like, when you're uncomfortable in growth, when everything happens so quickly that it's also very overwhelming. the opposite side of it, not just the
Yeah.
happy stuff. So it's like a huge, like a gradual sort of progression of emotions through the 2-year journey that I've had.
Yeah. And I think what a great way to start with look how far we've come. Because I think it kind of fits really well because through these kind of interviews that I do, it is about kind of understanding your origin story. And I think, did you start writing music when you were about 16?
No, I actually started writing music when I was 10.
10?
Yeah,
You got to tell me what you were writing about when you were 10 because I want to know.
I was a big sad boy back then. I was a big sad boy. I used to
Sad
write.
emo boy.
Yeah, that was literally me. Like with any like sort of like my friends and like I just. So the thing that with me is I used to emulate a lot of my top artists who I used to really look at, and I realized that the emulation sort of helped me speed track my process. And I used to write a lot of like sad Ed Sheeran songs, type songs, just go.
Yeah.
And when I couldn't write, I used to just do covers and just constantly in that sort of space. So yeah, I started doing music pretty young.
Oh my gosh. So then, like, were you kind of like listening to a lot of music at home or where were you kind of consuming music?
My mom actually. So listening to music started when I was 6. Like my mom had this cassette of like love songs with like artists like Richard Marx, and you have Rod Stewart. And at 6 years old,
Such a deep cut.
So at 6 years old, I'm listening to Have I Told You Lately, and I still like I'm singing along to it without even knowing I could sing. And then that's where my mom is the one who sort of just inducted me into music from the start, because even she sings and like she just does it as a hobby. So she's the one who kind of got me into it.
Aw. So I think do you feel like, obviously, from the age of 10, do you still feel like that sad boy still lives in you a little bit?
Oh, 100%. 100. That's like the core identity. That's never going. That's
Core
never
of
going.
Atteev, sad boy at heart.
Yeah. The difference is that this time I can pick and choose when to release the sad boy side, and the rest can be managed better.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that, like, that's still in you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still always be a sad boy. So this is also I find really interesting that, like, singing and music being part of your life, but you also didn't pursue music. You did a bachelor's, I think,
Yes.
in business admin
Yes.
and marketing and all that
Correct.
kind of stuff. So where was that moment where you kind of went, no, actually, the music is the thing that I want to do?
Actually, I've not had that moment yet. I actually run an entire company as well while doing music. So, my dad, so he has a company and like we have sub companies. So I actually work a 9 to 5 with my dad because I absolutely love it. And I do music from like 7 to 3 every day. So I'm working around the clock,
What?
7 days a week. Yeah.
That's crazy. So what is the work that you do?
So
then with your dad?
we manufacture aluminium ladders and scaffoldings.
What?
Yeah. So that's
You're
the
like,
thing.
that's what I do.
Yeah.
Every other time.
So I handle the entire sub company where we manage the rental of those two. So I'm a fiend for productivity systems. So I love building myself systems, and that's the only way I'm able to manage
You're
both.
speaking to my heart. I love that productivity systems
Yeah.
and product management systems. Oh my God. Efficiency.
Exactly. I'm an obsessive person behind efficiency.
Oh my God. I feel you. I think for me, I'm still very, I think at my core, I'm quite a creative person. But when things are organized and efficient, it feels good.
It feels very good.
Really nice. And when things like when tick boxes happen,
Exactly.
things are moving along, you're like, this is bringing me joy.
100% agree.
So, you were saying that you're part of your dad's business and you're doing music on the side. What did your parents kind of think of you still doing music? Were they like, yeah, you do you? Did they care or did they?
So I never say that I do music on the side. I just say I do 2 careers at the same time because I'm giving equal amount of time, equal amount of energy, equal amount of mental space to it. My parents, they've been very supportive from the very beginning. My parents have, so like they sent me to LA for a 3-month course where actually a lot of my foundational sort of how you write a song, how to make sure a song sticks, the consumer psychology behind writing a song, what sticks with them, what would stick, what doesn't stick, breaking down pop songs that are doing really well.
Yeah.
All of that started in LA, and my dad was always like, you do you.
You do what you have to do. Just make sure you have a stable income. And he was like, join the office. You can do music after as well. And initially I was like, never enjoyed work. I just did not find my joy there. I was like, I have to do music. This is all during college time.
Yeah.
Music. And 2020, right before the lockdown hit in Jan, I told my dad, I'm going to take a break from work and just do music. And then in Feb or in March, lockdown hit. 6 months of free time. Yeah. And my dad's like, here's your time. Just do what you have to do. And that's when I went all in. I would double down on just making music. And in that one...
This is my time.
Yeah, in that 6 months, I released 17 songs. Like 17 songs in 6 months and one EP. So...
That's a lot. I mean, that's more than most musicians, even when they start out. So do you feel... I mean, at this time now... Are you still doing the two careers? Do you see one sort of growing more than the other? Because you talk about the fact that in the last 2 years, you feel like so much has happened to you and so many things have, I think with any musician, you do to some extent want to feel some level of validation, right? Like you're not putting music out for no one to listen to. To some extent, if you're going to invest this much into something, you do hope that someone will hear it. And there is an enjoyment in being creative, but I do think that you want people to enjoy your music at the end of the day.
100%.
Do you feel like you've got that now?
Yeah, a lot more now. A lot more. So with regards to the question where both are going, like one is growing or not, that's the dilemma, the dichotomy in my life right now, because both are growing exponentially. Like, so I don't know what to choose, because I'm able to increase like growth by 200% in the past 2 years since I started working. So it's like that huge balance that I'm still figuring out. But luckily I have a team for both. For music, I have a team of 10, and for work, I have a team of 10 who kind of sort of, and I built the entire system for them. So the admin daily stuff is already run by them. And I just look at the main bigger problems to kind of just help that smoothen out the process.
Man,
but
I need to
the
get
validation
some
has been
efficient product efficiency lessons from you, son. Yeah, man, I love this. This sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I do love to do, and I enjoy very much, Atteev, is a great band bio. Like a great...
Nice.
So I read yours.
Yeah.
And oh, it's so emo. I love it.
It is.
I'm like, yes. So for all of those who maybe don't get a chance to experience your band bio, so I'm going to read part of it out.
Dad, go for it.
Atteev's music is unabashedly real and candid, building a narrative through melodies and lyrics that connect with his audience at a stroke. Creating a safe space through music, he encourages his audience to explore the unfiltered, unmasked versions of themselves. Having lived in Mumbai and LA, Atteev's music explores the spectrum of human experience, from anxiety-inducing to heartwarming. Atteev's songs reflect his fervent emotions and earnest instances, which showcase the strength and relief that comes from stripping off the superficial facade that one puts up for the world to see, making up the core of his music. A startling combination of the attributes vulnerability, authenticity, seeps soothingly into every song of his. Pairing this with a lush yet futuristic production style that ranges from emotional rock to industrial punk, house euphoria to Indian classical, he encompasses subtle messages through metaphorical lyricism, which he considers the middle of his music. It's long, bruv.
It is. I know it is. I know it's quite long.
But there is so much happening. I was like, oh, so many emotions. I don't know where to begin. So you're going to be like, I got to cut down my bio.
Yeah, that's the longer one we use.
I read your Insta one. Artist living the human experience. Music producer. And I'm like, what happened in between? This is a little bit like, aren't we all living the human experience?
Yes, I think that's like the core of me. Is because I kind of speak about this quite openly, is that I've been diagnosed with clinical anxiety all my life. So throughout my life, and I realized that people always look at anxiety like, oh, it's the bad thing. Like, you got to maintain it, you got to manage it, which is makes sense. Yes, you got to manage it, but nobody really talks about the positive sides of it. Like for me, it's because of the fact that I have clinical anxieties, I'm able to be so nitpicky and organized, then so productive and efficient. Without it, I wouldn't be able to. I'm a very lazy person. I think I tell that to everyone. I'm super lazy. But because of the anxiety and the anxiousness that I feel, like, okay, you know what? This is me. I need to do it. Because I don't have any connections in the industry. My family's a business background. I come from a completely business background. So having and that's something I want to sort of put out into the world and make people realize that being authentic is your greatest superpower. Without that, you'll just be fake. Like, if you're not authentic, you can't really explore the world the way you're meant to be exploring it. Like, we're lucky to be alive. That's all I can think about. And I would, if I'm human, like, there was this quote I heard from Lily Reinhardt in one of her videos, that we have given the opportunity to experience human emotions on such a grand scale. Why not experience everything? Like, why run away from anything? So that's why that's why it's so long. My music sort of, I aim to give my listeners a space to be able to be raw and authentic, because that's when you really know the true you. And I think that's unlimited power.
I agree with you. I think you've also beautifully kind of summarized your own, and I hate to say the word journey, but talking about the fact that you are not someone who has connections to the industry, that you do come from your family comes from a certain business background. When you don't have any of that, it does become like, how the hell do I where do I even get here? How does my music even get through? And I think that becomes a very, that becomes a task that you don't even know where to begin. Really, where do I start? Who do I talk to? Where do I reach out to? But then you have. And I think, and I love the fact that you've also talked about very openly about your anxiety, because I do think that people are experiencing some kind of mental health trauma or issues or things that were, especially during the pandemic. I can definitely tell you, I have become far more emotional during the pandemic in isolation than I ever have. Like, everything makes me cry. I'm like, why am I crying? But yeah, I think all of us, to some extent, we've gone through something. And I think in experiencing it, good, bad, and ugly, we get to also understand how to deal with it too. I think then equally in us experiencing is that, like, is this something that I'm okay with? Am I not okay with this? And then we get to decide what really works for us and doesn't. Because I think we also can't stop sometimes the way our brain works.
100%.
We have to be like, you're going crazy. Now we need to deal with what is happening. So what's the second song you're going to play for us today?
So this song is called Where You Going. It's the first song I ever wrote and released. It's my first sort of entry into the industry. Yeah. And it's from the EP Fragments of My Former Self, which basically highlights the 5 journeys of falling in love and falling out of love and then reflecting on it. Yeah. So this is like the breakup song. So my sad boy emo side's gonna come out.
I wrote breakup song.
Yeah. Okay,
awesome.
Fantastic.
So next is
Where You Going?
What do you do when you give the keys of your heart to someone new? Maybe it's true, I'm gonna be the one who will always lose to you. So where do I go from here? What do I do? My heart wants to be with you, but I know that I can't feel this. Throw me a lifeboat now, 'cause I'm drowning away. The emotions go way too deep before even I got a chance to say, where you going? Where you going? Taking my heart away. You can find me when I wanna come back where we met yesterday. It gets harder every day, I swear. It's easier to live inside a bubble than face the truth. I know that I have got no right to care about you, 'cause we met 2 days ago, but there was something there. So where do we go from here? What do we do? My heart wants to be with you, but I know that I can't feel this. Throw me a lifeboat now, 'cause I'm drowning away. The emotions go way too deep before even I got a chance to say where you going, where you going, taking my heart away, away. You can find me when you wanna come back where we met yesterday, met yesterday. Oh.
So you have like these kind of symbols on your guitar.
Yeah.
One's like a cross and one's a paw mark. What's that?
That's sort of my homage to Ed Sheeran, because he's the one listening to he kind of got me into songwriting. Like his music sort of guided me into how to write songs and like breaking down songs. Like, so I like because I have so much like a connection with him, I decided to sort of embed him on my guitar. And every time I play, I remember that this is the vibe that I'm going for. This is the sort of connection I want to have with one of my audience members that impacted me so much that it actually got me into this career, got me into this dream. So yeah, Ed Sheeran.
Were you quite obsessed with Sheeran?
Oh, yeah, I was quite obsessed. I mean, I went for both of his shows and I was singing all of his songs. I knew his set list of his shows because I've watched every single live shows of his on YouTube. Like 1.5 hours just spent looking at him play live, and then I was singing with, and like there was a crowd that just gathered around me at the concert, and they were only listening to me because they couldn't hear him. So I was like yelling it out, and then they started vibing with me, and it was like, yeah, it's a whole thing. Like I'm a huge fan,
Were you performing his music too at some point?
Yeah, in college, I was known as the NMIMS Ed Sheeran because I used to always sing thinking out loud, and like sort of that people used to really like me, like, dude, you sound so similar to him. Because like I said, I imitate a lot of my top artists. So like where the way they sing it, the raspiness, where do they bring in the raspiness, sort of to connect and get that emotion out, and then it translates into my music.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always better to learn from the best.
Aww, I like it. You're like Sheeran Guruji.
Yes.
So, you performed Where Are You Going? That's from your debut EP, Fragments of My Former Self.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, my favorite song of that is actually Reflection.
No way.
I really like Reflection.
Oh, that's such an underrated song. Like nobody hears that. Nobody hears
really
that.
like
And
that.
I
It's such a
really
good
like
song.
it.
Yeah.
It's a very personal song to me.
In what way?
So the whole thing that happened, like the reason why I wrote the album, so I went for my cousin's wedding, and there was this one girl who I really vibed with, and it was like just a lot for me in that span. And I was in a really weird mental space where like I was single for 2 years, and I'm like an emo boy, right? So I like to be in relationships. I mean, it's like straight up, like I'm the best me when I'm in a relationship, because like I can write songs about that person, I can do this about, and I mean, it's just a win-win for everyone. So yeah, so it was a 5-day wedding, and in each of those days, it's a long wedding. It was in Goa, and then there was a 5-day wedding, and each of those 5 days there was something that happened regarding, and then it just regarding the love and the relationship. And when I looked back at it in hindsight, in a huge context, I realized I went through the entire journey of falling in and out of love while reflecting. And when I was reflecting, I was crying while writing Reflection. So that's a really personal song to me. Yeah, it's a very, really personal song to me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's my favorite because I don't know. Like for me, I feel like there's certain songs that speak to you. And that one, like I felt the feels for that one a little bit more than maybe the others.
So glad. I'm so glad. It makes
Did
me so
anything
happy.
happen with the
No.
5-day girl?
Nah.
No,
that was...
Wedding was over? Thing is over.
Yeah, wedding's over thing. So when I realized that it wasn't really her. It was just it was just a fantasy in my mind where I realized that this is something that is very important to me. That's the time I realized that, having a relationship and having someone who loves me and I love back is a very integral part of me as a human and a very integral part of me of how I work. So that's what it brought out. And so I'm very, very glad about that. It sort of brought forth this project that I was so proud of with Fragments because of that. So yeah, I'm so glad that it just was that 5-day thing. I think that's the memory that I want to keep it at.
So, I mean, you had also mentioned that you released like a whole bunch of singles. And obviously, Come Home was the one that caught my ear, caught my eye. I don't know. But that was the one that you released in 2022,
Yes,
right?
yes, August.
And yeah, I was like, wow, this is a really great pop song. It sounds really good. And then your more recent one that I really liked was On Our Own, which I think is like, I feel like you're going from strength to strength because I was like, oh my God, this is even better than the last song. So you mentioned the fact that you have been clinically diagnosed with anxiety.
Yeah.
Isn't On Our Own about your anxiety?
Absolutely. It's an exploration of how difficult it can be. Like, I know that it's very tough. Like, when you're in a panic attack, you feel like, you're alone. Like, there's a lot going on, very overwhelming. And On Our Own, actually, I wrote the beat to that song. So, because I produce everything myself, like, it's all done by me. So, I produced that beat 2 years ago. And I was just like, I'm going to hold on to it. Like, I played it to people. They're like, it was a completely different song. The whole song was different. The beat stayed the same. The entire top line was something else only. And then everyone was like, hold on to it. Just stay with it. Let your career grow and then release it sort of later on when people can actually hear what you're doing. And and then On Our Own, I just wrote it in 35 minutes.
No way.
I wrote the entire song in 35 minutes. And yeah, it's an exploration of how difficult it can be and that we
what
are
happens
on
to
our
you
own.
when you have like an anxiety attack?
Are
Are you okay to describe?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've gotten much better at handling it, but it's a lot of loss of breath. It's like blackouts, and it's just like I do not know what is going on, like completely losing sense of any sort of control over your own mind and thoughts and actions that you could do. And it can get very difficult because you don't really have a set time for how long like it lasts. And especially now at this stage in my life when I have so much going on, like I've got music going on, I've got work going on, I've got family relationships, I've got a very, very beautiful girlfriend who I'm really invested in. There's so much happening that when this happens, it sort of derails me. And what I'm very grateful of is the people around me, they know when this is happening. And when they know it, they know what needs to be done to calm me down. So it's my support system that I give a lot of credit to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you give me an example of something like a tool that kind of helps you get through it?
So I always call me right now, Atteev is Atteev 2.0. This is not Atteev 1.0.
Oh, okay.
Atteev 1.0 was a completely different human being. And I had a very intense panic attack where a lot of things just broke apart. And that is when I went into therapy for 2 years. And I credit my life to my therapist. Like, without her, I would not be here. See, she helped me get everything back on track and helped me set my mind to a way which will help me harness my anxiety to be productive. And that is that link that she created for me. So, yeah. And when
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it's it's what tools I would use is that I'm just very aware of my triggers. I know what is going to happen that can trigger me. And then I have ways to talk to myself. Like, I'm very aware of what emotions I'm feeling at what time and when are they happening. So right when, on the onset of an anxiety attack, I'm like, okay, this is my trigger. I need to take a step back and need to change my space so that I don't fall into that trap. Yeah, so that's the one thing that I do.
I think what's so interesting that you've articulated just now is a lot of people talk about managing your anxiety, but you actually have taken it a step further and gone, I'm harnessing my anxiety to help me be more productive or efficient, which I think is a really interesting way of looking at it. And it's very different from what I've usually hear, the way that, the kind of language that's used around anxiety. So thank you for that. That was so interesting. So another congratulations. I was part of a jury for the 2022 first time ever TuneCore grant in India. Yeah. And you won it, Atteev. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, mate. Thank you so much. Truly an honor. Truly, truly an honor.
You were one of the really good ones, and I'm so glad you won, and you really deserved it.
Thank you.
So, I'm kind of curious, like, because a lot has happened. I
Yeah.
also saw that you opened for Parik and Singh
Yes.
last year while they were on
Yes.
tour.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I'm telling you, mate, All About Music 2022 was probably the sort of catalyst for this entire explosion.
Really?
So, yeah, because my entire journey and career, we look at it as an enterprise. We don't look at it as just as an artistic career. So I have like the team of 10 set designers also. Before entering to like All About Music, we're like, okay, Atteev, you need to talk to A&Rs. You need to go to Connect Corner and talk to how many other people you can and pitch yourself there. And that's what I did. So I went to AAM and Vivek was there, and I just went up to him and be like, okay, so how do I open for, or how do I play at Antisocial? And he's like, we have open mics and this. I'm like, I've already done all of those. So he's like, okay, show me your Instagram. So I opened my Instagram, and luckily by this time my Instagram was very sort of professional looking, artist like. He looked at it and he's like, do you want to open for Parik and Singh? I'm like, yeah. And the craziest part, the guy behind me, he was one of my juniors in college who listened to me play Ed Sheeran, and he was just like, what?
Are you
It's just
serious?
happening. Like, he literally said, what is just happening loudly while I'm talking to Vivek, and we were just like, damn, like this is. And I was like, yeah. And then my anxiety started setting in. And then I was like, oh my God, I am anxious. Because he's like, I'll give you an answer by the end of the day. Or like by the next day, I'll send it to, like, I'll hear your music, I'll send it to Parik and Singh, and let's see what they say. I was anxious, extremely anxious, because I was excited. I'm like, even the fact that I got this opportunity, even like he like said that, do you want to open, was a huge deal for me, coming from like already nothing,
Yeah.
So I was anxious. I'm like, oh my God, I was telling my teammates that, listen, I'm really anxious. What do I do? They're like, just like, calm down. Let's take a step back and let's get away from AM for some time. So I took a step back from AM, went away for half an hour, just calmed myself down. I'm like, and this is the thing that helps me a lot when I'm anxious. Is like, whatever is meant to happen will happen. The one thing, I can't control other people's actions. I can't control what the external factors that affect me. I can only control what I do and what the way I perceive it. That's the biggest key, is the perception of situations.
Yeah.
You switch your perception, you switch everything. And I immediately switched my perception and be like, this is just one concert. I will play tours. I will sell out stadiums. That's not going to happen. That's already in my mind, that I am selling out MMRDA. I am selling out Geo Garden.
MMRD and
Yeah. So I'm already, my mind's there. So we're working double hard, because we're like, it's inevitable. That's the only way that I can sort of manage everything. Otherwise, I'd be anxious all the time. If I'm just being the true belief that it's inevitable, just makes it easier. And that's how I got Parik and Singh, like, out of nowhere.
That is exciting. Also, I found out something very random, but I think you need to explain it to me.
Okay.
My question to you is, what is Lean Six Sigma Green Belt? Does anyone out
Oh
there
my God.
who's listening to the show, Lean Six Sigma Green Belt? I have no idea. I saw these words and I'm like, these are a bunch of random words put together, and he has one. I don't know, what is that? What is that?
So Lean Six Sigma is basically a philosophy that's used in manufacturing, where you look at efficiency, where you try to reduce the errors per million to the lowest level. So Six Sigma is basically one developed by, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure like it was a Japanese, like I think Toyota or one of them. And it's basically a certification for efficiency. Now, you know me, I'm a fiend for efficiency. So I took it and I basically just studied it for 2 weeks, where I was looking. So this is the time where I was building an efficiency like sort of system for my company, because it was really unorganized. My dad, he's still the old school sort of Excel and writing things down. And I'm like, we got to start technology now. It's here. So that's when I did it. And it shows me ways to increase efficiency in processes. And that's what I'm doing. And actually, I'm going to start my black belt, which is the next step, because I did really, like, not to toot my own horn, but I did really well, because I got a brand of, like, a seal of excellence, which is not given to everyone. It's only like to the top 2-3 people.
Congratulations. So cool.
Thank
This
you.
is what you mean
Yeah.
about the whole I'm doing well in both realms. Yeah.
Exactly.
So right now, what are your plans for 2023?
Oh, so 2023, a lot. So right now, my team and I, we just finished off my upcoming EP. That's called Look How Far We've Come. The song I played was the title track of that. On Our Own and Come Home are a part of that EP as well. And it's basically like the thank you notes to everyone who's been a part of my journey for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's the EP happening in March. Before that, these 2 months are just planning, execution, promotion, like just handling all of the Facebook ads and like getting the PR done and all of that for the next 2 months. I'm actually heading to Slovenia for a month.
What?
7th Feb.
Why Slovenia out of all places?
What like the close people around me know this, but the reason why my quality of music is at the level that it is at is because of my mentor, this person called Klemen Zupancic. He was my roommate in LA, and he's a huge deal in his country. Like, he's a huge music producer, DJ, mix engineer, and he's been doing this as a career for the past 3-4 years. Has a huge studio, works with the top artists there. He's one of my best friends, and like he sits and like he's so close to me that he sits and goes through my songs, and he will tell me what is bad on my face and tell me change it to this, change it to that, try mixing it this way, try mixing it that way. And he said 8 hours on a call with me just to mix one track. He would not think
really
twice.
sweet.
And yeah, like for example, I'm going to Slovenia in Feb. I've been planning this for 5 years. December, I was going to book my tickets. He's like, 4 weeks I'm giving you. Every single day, I need 5 new demos from you. If you miss even 1 week, we're postponing your trip. So he's like, because I hadn't worked on making new music, because I was just finishing the EP.
Oh my God.
So he's like, I need you to do this. If you don't send me an email every Monday by 2 o'clock, you are not coming. I am not letting you in this country.
God, that's like,
So
it's like Lean Six Sigma. Come on, efficiency max.
yeah, it's literally that. And he's one of my closest friends. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be here without him. That's just the basic fact of it. I have huge respect for him. And my entire family does. My parents went and met him in December. Like, they
Are
went
you
to Slovenia.
serious?
Very, 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 very close. Like, my parents went and he took them all around Slovenia, showed them.
Oh my
and
God.
yeah, and my dad is
Sounds
generally
really
a shy guy. My dad's shy. He's
Shy
like,
guy.
yeah. But he opened up to Clement. And this is a foreigner. We're talking about a European guy, European white male, 30 years old. Now, an Indian dad who's 50, just vibing. And it's yeah, I'm very lucky.
Yeah. So what's the last song you're going to play for us today?
This last song is called Fitoor. This I got signed by Select by Coinage. It's like an indie sort of Hindi label, because I dabbled in Hindi as well. I'm still dabbling in Hindi. Yeah, so this song is called Fitoor.
Awesome. What's it about?
I actually wrote this for my girlfriend, my current girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, she's been very supportive and very, very important, integral. And it just came out. The song just came out of nowhere. I wrote the song in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So all my songs are written like 30,
I heard
45
that, like,
minutes.
I don't know if this is true or not, but you didn't even know what the word Fitoor meant.
No,
when
I
you were
didn't.
Like, so what does it mean?
It means like madness, like absolute pagalpan, if like to say it in Hindi. Like, yeah, just absolute madness. And I think it just came to me. And I think it encapsulated how I feel about her, like just absolute love and madness. So,
It's really sweet. So, last song for the set.
yes,
Fitoor.
Fitoor. तेरे बिना बिना जियूं तू ही तो है मेरा पेलिया तेरे होने वाले कल से मैं खुद को जोड़ता हूँ पेलिया सोच ना सके मेरा दिल यही कहे अब मैं मान लूं तुझे तू मेरा फितूर और मैं दीवाना तेरे वास्ते ही तो हूँ पेलिया पर मैं ना कह सका इस पल में थम जाए हम साथिया सुन रहे हो ना तुझसे कहना है मुझे तू ही मेरी सांस है बेलिया हर लम्हा जो मैं हूँ जिया तू ही मेरी आस है बेलिया सोच ना सके मेरा दिल यही कहे अब मैं मान लूं
तुझे तू मेरा फितूर और मैं दीवाना तेरे वास्ते ही तो पी लिया पर मैं ना कह सका इस पल में थम जाए हम साथिया सुन रहे हो ना फितूर और मैं दीवाना तेरे वास्ते ही तो दे लिया पर मैं ना कह सका इस पल में थम जाए हम साथिया सुन रहे हो ना
Hi, this is May Thomas. I know you can't see me with this amazing camouflage that I have on, but don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Made in India.